In PHP, there is very often more than one way to do something. In this video, we're going to look at various ways to get the value of a variable that might not be set. For example, we get values from the query string in the global get array. Here we're getting the value of a variable called page from that array and printing it out. So if we load this script in a browser and pass in a page variable in the query string, this is what's printed out. However, if this variable isn't set, we get an undefined index error. This is because an element with an index of page doesn't exist in this array. To fix this, we can use the isset function to first check if the value is set, and if it is, we can get the value from the array as before. If it's not set, then we can set it to another value. For example, as this is a page number, let's default it to 1. So now when we run the code, if the page variable isn't there, it defaults to 1, and we no longer get the error. If it is there, then we get the value from the query string as before. There's no problem doing it this way if you want. However, we can reduce these 5 lines of code into just one using the ternary operator. The ternary operator is a condition followed by a question mark and 2 expressions separated by a colon. If the condition evaluates to true, the value of the first expression is returned. If it's false, the value of the second expression is returned. So in this case, the condition is the call to the isset function. The value we want if this is true, in other words, if the variable is set, is the value of the variable itself. And if it's not true, i.e. if it's not set, we'll default it to 1 again. And we'll assign the result of this entire expression to the page variable. When we run this, it works just as before. If the variable is present in this query string, that's the value we get, and if not, it defaults to 1. We can reduce this even further though, getting the value of a variable only if it's set. Otherwise, setting a default is a common pattern. So a new operator was added in PHP 7 to do just this, called the Null Coalescing operator. This operator is a variable followed by 2 question marks and an expression. If the variable is set and is not null, the operator returns the value of the variable. Otherwise, it returns the value of the expression. So we can remove the call to isset, change the operator to the Null Coalescing operator, and just have the default value as the second operand. Again, this works exactly as before. With no variable we get the default, and with the variable we get its value. So we can reduce this if-else block to 1 line using the ternary operator, and as we're using isset, we can reduce it again to use the Null Coalescing operator. These 3 blocks of code do the same thing. As long as it's clear to you what the operators are doing, reducing your code like this can make it much clearer and easier to read.